Miss Lauryn Hill say, y'all better be glad I showed up. Bitch, we paid. Fendi, like the bag. This is the I Refuse podcast. It's Mr. Fox, the I Refuse podcast. I'm back again. I was this close to minding my African American business. But here we are with some more bullshit. So, first things first, Lauryn Hill had a show recently, and apparently she was on one again. Got on stage with her family, including her mother, to tell us, y'all better be glad she showed up. And she went to this whole diatribe. At first, I was just like, girl, the call's coming from inside the house. Then, once I played, I guess, the full clip, where she thanked her mom and her family for keeping her together and being her strength and all that other stuff, I thought, oh, here go the floodgates. And the clip has been circulating around and the conversation has been going from different perspectives. Auntie Anita Baker chimed in and gave a little bit of context as a fellow performer. How the sound is not right, and you give out so much money for the best stuff, but in return you don't get the best quality, and the promoter and this and that and this and that. And I was thinking, all right, I see where she's going with this. But those of us that have been consumers for the longest time, going to concerts, paying our good hard-earned money to come and see you perform, we don't want to hear all that. We really don't. Now, I blame y'all. The adage says, the definition of crazy is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Lauryn Hill, for the past 15, 20 years, has been touring off of one album. Those of us in the 40-year range, mid-40s, were old enough to remember when that album dropped, but on top of that, all the controversy and the problems that ensued within the year of its release. And I keep reiterating in the comment section of the TikToks of, every time y'all post a clip of her performing a song you love in a different arrangement, a different style, a different key, that part of her agreement with the New Arc people that were the real team behind the writing and the production of the Miseducation Lauryn Hill, part of her agreement is that she cannot perform the songs on the albums in their original form or any variation similar to the original form. So if you have been a fan of X Factor, for example, you've been a fan of the X Factor song that's on the album, beautiful song, very slow for a reason, beautiful, all that other stuff, and you go to her shows the past 15, 20 years, because she's been touring just off of that album, and you get a go-go beat or a dance hall beat to it, and the tempo is different, and you pissed because you paid probably upwards of $100. That's why. If you are a fan of Doo-Wop That Thing, that's probably the biggest song off of the album, and she's rapping, and it's got that music to it that makes you be like, move your hips and shit, and you go to the show the past 20, 25 years, and it sounds like something out of a Shopper Ranks CD. The New York lawsuit is the reason why. Like, you gotta, at some point, you gotta look in the mirror and be like, context matters and so does history. For the rest of her life, she cannot perform any of the songs off that album in the original form or a variation adjacent to the original form. So anytime you keep going to these shows, you keep supporting the album, and I get it, it's very noble, it's very impactful and stuff. You're not going to get anything even in the same zip code as the songs that are on the album, except the title of the song. I mean, the set list, yeah, you'll have the titles, but the actual music and the performances, yeah, it's going to be totally different. It's going to fuck you up. But y'all keep going. Y'all keep going to the shows. Y'all keep rewarding people who are fucking with your time by continuing to support the people. But also, it's like, we had a discussion down on the podcast not too long ago, or on the Bird app through our Twitter page, that doors open does not equal show starts. So if it says doors open at 7, that doesn't mean the show starts at 7. If the doors open at 7, the show may not start until 8:30. And that's if the opening act starts on time, or that's even if they have an opening act. However, I'm with y'all. Like, Lauryn Hill is not, yeah, it's very influential, very impactful, very highly revered because she reflects a period in hip hop where females actually had something to say. But you still only got that one album, right? So when you think about it from that perspective, there's other parts of there are other additions to the conversations or people's input where it's like, she probably has a lot of pressure on her by the industry or, her former label at one point or another to do a sophomore album. But instead, she was feeling the pressure and opted not to. Here's the thing. Michael Jackson, like, it's not, when you're that good and you're that talented, right? When you think of like Michael Jackson, when you think of Prince, like, there's nothing stopping you from recording and producing. You have the accessibility, you have the privilege. Just saying your name still to some degree in the room will open a lot of opportunities for you, right? Now, in this era of where you could just put all your feelings and your thoughts into paper and it sells, no matter the quality, Lauryn Hill could have very well did like a 10-song album, probably the last 5 or 10 years. And it would have sold considerably. A lot of people are going to, compare it to her debut album. Everybody's shit gets compared to the last album that sold really well, or the one album 2 or 3 albums ago that turned everybody upside down. I said Michael Jackson because that never stopped Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, prime example, because he never stopped after Thriller. He could have. He was only, 23, 24 years old, around the same age as Lauryn Hill when she dropped The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And there's a little bit of parallels where it's like, that surprised everybody when that dropped. But also, she touches people in a way that others in her same class just doesn't. So it was like a great time in 1998, 96, 1998, 1998, where she just came out of nowhere, did like a couple of songs here and there, but this album just kind of changed everything. And given that you not only rap, but you also sing, you really could have did at least one album. You could have went the Sade route or the Maxwell route. Given us 5 or 10 years to breathe, you could have capitalized off of your sentencing and your release from jail for tax evasion, and really gave us like a different side of Lauryn Hill. But I don't know what was keeping her from doing that. Now, a lot of people went up for the MTV Unplugged. A lot more people are doing it now, but the fact of the matter is, it's like you're not giving us much to work with, and it's very much giving like a self-awareness. Like the calls definitely coming from inside the house. Now you can claim it's the industry, you can claim whatever, or it's the spirits, or the stars didn't align today. But ma'am, you've been continuously truant to your performances for at least 10 years. I was supposed to come and see you at Rams Head Live or Rams Head on Stage in Baltimore. Whew, pre-pandemic. I was like, okay, I know girlfriend was fresh off of telling people that she was shaking hands in the audience talking about, the stars or the spirits in the sky didn't align right, or the energies was off. That's why I was late. I still went and bought my little $85 ticket. I was like, okay, I'm gonna give her a shot. Miseducation is my jam. Bought it the week before, and I was surprised that it was as affordable as it was because it's Lauryn Hill, right? Literally, 24 hours before showtime, show canceled. I got my money back, but I was like, yeah, I'm done. I have a friend of mine that still goes up for Lauryn Hill. Good for her. I still listen to the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. That duet with D'Angelo still puts me in a pause, and I'm like, everybody shut up, my jam is on. Like, it's just, at some point you just have to look at yourself. Like, you being in the recording industry, you being in the recording business, the touring business or whatever, or a relationship with promoters, it's 50-50. You have as much accountability as the people you pay or the people you're in agreement with. Like, it doesn't hurt to like vet people and backgrounds and shit. There's nothing stopping you from recording. Now, I don't know if there's something else in the equation that's kind of tainting relationships to where it's like people should be like banging down your door at this point. Like, you essentially go by your first name, your last name, but they put the miss in front of it. But even then, like when Prince went by one name, he kept recording, even though he had his issues with the recording industry. That didn't stop him from recording. And eventually, people eventually just came around, and he just kept going. So I don't know what the issue is. Like, it's just so many, you can say so many different things about the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill as it continues. But it just, I don't know. Like, there's nothing stopping you. That's great that your mom is your rock and your source, and you want to bring up all the Lauryn Hill 5 or 10 kids that you have. But all the performative stuff, does not change the taste in people's mouths. And I blame the people for continuing to go. Like, this habit, and this is just with any performer, like these older acts that have like less than 5 albums, take their time or drop shit for shock value and then disappear for 10 years, got the nerve to be going on these tours, and their group tours, being 3 hours late, 2 to 3 hours late on a work night, and then just perform well until like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, Miss Badu, what's going on? I don't know. I don't know. So she got up there and said, you know, y'all better be lucky I even showed up. And I'm like, that just gives a level of entitlement. And that seems to be the theme these days. You know, we just got done talking about restaurants and customer service and Black entrepreneurship and restaurateurs presenting themselves or acting in a way that they feel like they're doing us a favor. And it's like, I would be very careful in an industry where you are of service, or your bills are being paid by people that come out of pocket to see you perform or to come and try you out. And y'all get up on social media thinking the audience is going to side with you, and it's giving very much out of touch. You tried to get us with this 25th anniversary of the score, 25th anniversary of the Miseducation first, right? You've been touring off of that album for about 30 years. At some point, the glare and the gleam of the album starts to wear off, and people just stop coming to the show. We already got the album. For the $10 or $11 that we paid for it back in 1998, you're not going to give us anything new by way of a new album. Y'all tried to do something with the Fugees reunion before Prize Goes Off to the Clink. That came and went. It's like, what do you want us to do? I gave Lauryn Hill a chance to try to see her live in my lifetime, because when she came out with the album in the late 90s, I was in high school. Didn't have enough money then. Thought, oh, I'll go and try to see her. No. She canceling shit. She late otherwise. Every time she goes on tour, y'all go on social media and complain. Like we didn't try to tell y'all last time she went on tour. And y'all keep going expecting something different. And I keep telling y'all, it's not going to be the same arrangement, not going to be in the same key, because of that New York lawsuit. Lauryn Hill, going into the production of her debut album, tried to get the work off of, oh, it's family, we don't do papers around here, we're doing the Prince thing. But Lauryn, East Orange, New Jersey, Hill, you're not Prince. Prince played every instrument, wrote the majority of all of his material. Very prolific. He just had the Revolution or the New Power Generation as his backing band on the tour. Like, it was a vanity title on the album. He did all the instruments on every album, but when he went on tour, he had them backing him up. Y'all gotta understand that, like, you get double billing when you have two different names. Just saying. Lauryn Hill is not Prince. Prince had his issues with the industry and contracts and stuff like that, but Prince also worked his ass off. So you're in the recording industry. Whether you have a contract or you don't, you still have to work and perform. And you gotta go on tour to eat. You gotta tour to get paid. You gotta perform to get paid. You need money to eat and live. The lateness and the defensive-ness and the lack of self-awareness is not leaving a good taste in your fans' mouths. It's not. It's taking away the anticipation for anything that you could be working on. Like, you're good. You're really, really good. Really good freestyler, really good songwriter, really good at production. But girl, you can't be selfish and greedy and then play the victim. Like, you can't have it both. Well, clear. You should know by now you can't have it both ways. And play in our face along the way. So, nobody's looking at the promoters crazy. Nobody gives a damn about background drama or the equipment. A lot of people still perform when the sound goes out. If the mic is on, you go on. Don't look at the background dancers or the singers or the opening act or your manager or your band like you're here. Just do the damn thing. So, moving right along, Married to Medicine and Real Housewives of Potomac started their new season last night. The core of the premiere episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac was everything Robin and Juan. Like, this, everybody else sees it, Robin. They started off with her appearance on Watch What Happens Live with Ebony Williams, another chaotic person, where Robin tries to, I guess, explain away Juan's hotel room situation. Yeah, he was stupid. He shouldn't have signed the bill, and that was dumb, and yada, yada, yada. I'm looking at Andy. Andy's looking at Robin. Ebony is sipping from her cocktail through a long straw, trying to look at something else in the room that makes sense. And I'm like, Robin, hi. We've been watching reality TV long enough to know that no man close to a hotel room is there just to sign the bill. The inference is that you were doing something that you had no business doing. Like, we look to Dr., and I'll get to Dr. G in a minute, on coming back to Married to Medicine. The Dr. G situation on Married to Medicine years ago. It doesn't matter that you actually, whether or not you actually consummated it. It's the inference with it. And it's like, Robin, this man has been rolling around on you since day one. And I know this because I'm really good friends with somebody that used to kick it with Juan back in the day while he was with Robin. This is like early 2000s. So he's been doing this. And he's not a good liar. Not a good liar. They go into the episode and, other stuff has happened. Him with the lady in Canada and him at the nail salon and him at the laundromat. And the first half of the episode, Robin and Juan are sitting on the couch and they're talking about it. And I'm like, thinking to myself, If you are a coach at a college, why do you need to go to a laundromat off-site? Y'all don't wash the jerseys on campus in the gym? Like, I thought, like, in the locker room area, there's like a laundry. I haven't been to Coppin, but I have been to college, and I'm just like, it's just, it's just not looking good. And Juan has a reputation, one that goes all the way up to Baltimore. So that was the center, Robin and Juan. And, you know, she went and sat with Charisse and Ashley and Giselle. Three women that have all been played by people they were married to. Robin and Juan's situation is one of convenience and comfortability. Y'all were rooming for so long on the show, probably even longer before the show came along. Y'all got remarried. There's no passion or no chemistry there. It's very much given like Black Ink Chicago with Ryan and his baby mama. They brought her on the show, and it was just like, you can tell that they're not interested in each other, and she looks worn out. And Robin looks worn out. Same parallel. So they're each sharing their experience. Charisse gets emotional. Ashley is just like trying to be optimistic, but it's like, what is it? She's just not. She's trying to just get Robin to see. And Giselle is like, got this look on her face like she wants to shake her friend, which would have been justifiable. Giselle, married to a pastor, had 3 kids by him, was dogging her out, cheating on her with people in his church. And she was gone pretty much from the gate. That started, she found out about it. Robin is just, I think she is just dead from the neck down. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of women like Robin are not justifying it, but looking the other way because sons need their father. Sons need their father, and, you know, Robin has her dad. She can't think of possibly tearing her family apart. But you got to be real. You know what I mean? You got to be real with yourself. You've been coasting for about 6 seasons now. And this is besides the point, but you've been coasting for 6 seasons now. Haven't been sharing much of your own life and story. You've been just essentially coasting into everybody else's business and kind of projecting and striking out within the girlfriend group, which is very weird because you wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. You wouldn't bring a knife to a food fight. You wouldn't bring you're not about that set it off life, right? So the signs have been there to us that deep down you are hurt and struggling, and you've essentially, this whole thing has made your spine into jelly. And I'm clear, and as you can see from previews later on in the season, Robin's going to start to feel attacked. And it's like, Robin, you got to wake up. You really got to wake up. He was sitting on that couch right next to you, just rubbing his ear a lot, very much giving Marcus from Why Did I Get Married? And you're just like, yeah, well, you know, I tried, but, and you thought you were slick by giving late ass tea behind a paywall on your reasonably shady podcast. But we don't need the podcast because we watch it. We seen it. We you know, the red flags are there. Like girl, it's like you're going down to the gate at Six Flags with all the flags, walking by all the flags to get on the wand ride. And it's just like, you ain't tired yet? Part of me is like, maybe she has something up her sleeve. She's probably just riding it out until the boys are 18. She'll start doing the Stella Got a Groove thing. If the show's still on, she might do the Stella Got a Groove back thing, have a little side piece. Like, that would be juicy. But you're coasting still. You're giving Juan a pass. You're not giving us much of anything as the viewer outside of that. And it's kind of weak compared to everybody else. You're not giving much in the girlfriend group. You're kind of pissing people off. Candace is the most vocal about it. Everybody else on this show is sharing their life and being honest. You, ma'am, are in a fake relationship. Y'all over there looking like the Ebonics version of the Perfect Strangers TV show from back in the day. Y'all are two roommates. You ain't even got your ring on. You don't even got your ring on. Like, what are we doing here? Like, show more of the boys. Like, do what Cecil and Simone do. You know, they show the boys every once in a while. They having dinner with the boys. They're talking with the boys about the birds and the bees. Like, be somewhat entertaining and fun. Like, we love to see the kids. They look like two little wands. You got 3 wands in the house. 3 wands and a robin. And a problem. That's an episode name for your ass. But you got to do something, Robin. You know, flip a table over. Throw a chair. Throw a glass vase in this new house that's surrounded by other houses. Like, girl, you don't get a fenced-in backyard? But it's going to be a problem for us. So we go on. That's essentially the first episode. You know, you get the introduction. You know, you catch up with the ladies a little bit. But the first episode is essentially about Juan and Robin. Move over to Married to Medicine. First part, you know, is, you know, Phaedra walking in looking like Alias. I'm like, ma'am, you are in your 40s. You got sons that are old enough now. I'm trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Apparently she got a boutique. Jackie and Heavenly come by. Heavenly is with the shits already dropping quotable lines, talking about, we all know that Phaedra honesty ain't in the bitch. I said, you right about that. Both of them are Scorpios. We'll see how that go. You know, Heavenly is a lot more entertaining. Phaedra is a little bit too calculated for reality TV and can't recover to save her life. Doesn't stand in her shade. She's looking a little Danny Kane-ish still and trying to convince us that although she's not married to medicine, she's dating medicine. But quiet as is kept, word on the street is she's not even with the dude anymore. So what are you married to? The fur coats in your store? Anyway, it looks like she's trying to go for a rebrand, a different look. I'm not buying it. We still haven't forgiven you about how you did Candy and basically had Portia be your lackey. Brought down D-Class, Real Housewives of Atlanta, like Nene said. And we don't really know if we want you over here yet on Married to Medicine. But that's not where we are. Like Phaedra, get your little 10,000 an episode. The main course, part of me is gleeful about this. My attention's on Dr. G and Sweet Tea, his fiance, and how that's going to ruffle the feathers of Quad, who needs her feathers ruffled because she needs to work for her check and give us something that's not about somebody else, like other ladies in the group. It had been 6 months since they had last saw Quad. Quad wasn't in this episode as much. She was doing hair somewhere, but the rest of the ladies, um, Simone and Toya and Eugene and Cecil, got together. Dr. G came over to, I guess it was Simone's house, and they ate and they met her and stuff. So apparently they had been building a relationship off camera leading into the first episode with Dr. G and his fiance. There's about a good 15 to almost 20-year age difference between Dr. G and Sweet Tea. Sweet Tea is 31 years old, comes from Kansas or Oklahoma by way of Texas. I like her. It looks, and this is just my opinion, it just looks like it's Too Fast and Too Furious. They haven't been together that long, and they met through social media. And, they had a little hoedown or whatever at the house. The ladies came over. Couldn't even get through 10 or 15 minutes of being around the ladies without, of course, Heavenly getting it started. Heavenly showing her jealousy of Jackie and Simone's relationship. Like, why did you refer the girl to a specialist and not to Jackie? And looking straight at the both of them as she's saying it, in this girl's presence, in her house that she shares with Dr. G, in front of her fraternal twin sister. Like, Simone is through. I get tickled when Simone gets to 1,000. She probably hadn't even been drinking yet, but Heavily knows how to push buttons. And then when she gets the reaction she wants, she's like, I was just asking a question, bitch. All right. Not even 5 or 10 minutes away from the husbands, you showing up and showing out. I'm laughing as a viewer. It's crazy. It's like, damn, can we at least meet the girl and be around the girl for a good one night already? I thought they weren't getting married until later. Turns out they got the marriage license at the end of the episode, and it kind of bleeds off into previews of the rest of the season, where they actually are in the same room with Quad. And Sweet Tea has a meltdown and all this other stuff, and I'm just like, oh my God. So, we'll see. I'm locked in, not really paying too much attention to anything else except how Dr. G's relationship, he looks good. He's lost a lot of weight. The house looks different. The energy is different. It's light and airy. He's not with somebody that stresses him out, somebody that doesn't play mind games. He's lost a lot of weight. He looks good. Hopefully it's not that Dick Gregory. I'm locked all the way in. Sweet Tea is not taking any mess. I just hope she's not like the second coming of that last girl who was the real estate attorney and got up in Toya's face. And I hope she's not going to regress to being boring like Anila. Like just, we know you married to medicine, or you could be, but it looks like Dr. G is going to start having some questions and things the way they paint it, you know how production is. So we'll see. I'm locked in. They're both going to be on Sundays. And, yeah. So Married to Medicine got it going on. Real Housewives of Potomac, I don't know. Need to fill out the new girl. Looks like Ashley's setting Wendy up to have beef with her friend, the African girl who's from real African money, so she claims. But we'll see. We'll see what Real Housewives of Potomac is giving. If it's going to give anything. Married to Medicine has me locked in. What else? So yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I ain't got too much on that. Continue to support and subscribe to the I Refuse Podcast. We're down the Little Bird app at I Refuse Podcast. We have the Instagram at I Refuse Podcast _ between the words. We also have the usual suspects, the I Refuse Podcast After Dark, and of course, 5 seasons of the I Refuse Podcast, wherever you get your music and your podcasts. And we will catch you guys later. If there's more nonsense, we'll be back sooner than the end of this week. If not, this is where it is. So, keep it locked and loaded. We will catch you guys later. And that's that on me.
Fendi, like the bag. This is the I